Welcome to Car Talks, where we talk everything about car. Today, we have a special guest, a PERODUA that is not officially inside Malaysia yet. It might look like a PERODUA Ativa, but it's not the PERODUA Ativa that you can buy. This is a PERODUA Ativa Hybrid CBU from Japan. In case you didn't notice, this PERODUA Ativa is slightly different from what you can see in the market. The front grille is slightly different, the rim is slightly different. Why is that so? Because this is a PERODUA Ativa Hybrid, which is not officially launched by PERODUA yet. PERODUA only bring in 300 units of this PERODUA Ativa Hybrid from Japan, CBU, as a market study. So for those who are interested in invitation basis only, they are able to lease the car for 500 ringgit per month up to 5 years, and after that they need to return the car to PERODUA. Why PERODUA do this activity is actually to convey a long-term user market survey to ensure that this drivetrain is suitable for Malaysia driving condition. In case you do not know what a PERODUA Ativa or a Toyota Race or a Daihatsu Rocky or a Subaru Rex is, it's actually a product under the DNG Platform, the Daihatsu New Global Architecture Platform, where it's the successor for the Toyota Rush or the Daihatsu Bigo, we understand it as Rush, or the Daihatsu Rocky, which is somewhat similar to the Suzuki Jimny. It's all SUV, compact SUV, compiled together and become a so-called new generation product for the Toyota group. Back in 2017, Daihatsu released a concept car named as T-Rex in Tokyo Auto Show. After that, Subaru, Daihatsu, Toyota all releases their respective product, which is the Rocky, the Race, and the Rex. Of course, our PERODUA Ativa also part of the strategy. So enough about the history. In terms of PERODUA, this is actually the third SUV product from PERODUA. The first one will be the Kambara, the second one will be the Nautica, which is very rare in the market at the moment, and the third one will be this, the PERODUA Ativa. But what you are looking at here is not the PERODUA Ativa that you see at the street. This particular unit only comes in white and with a special grille. It's actually CBU from Japan by PERODUA to perform a market study and to perform a market acceptance test, a long-term user test for selected users or selected consumers only. For those who are being selected by PERODUA, they only need to pay an upfront of about 3,000 ringgit or 2,000 something, correct me if I'm wrong, and commit to a 500 ringgit per month rental fee or a lease fee for 5 years, which total sums up to 30,000, and they can use this car up to 100,000 kilometers, so that PERODUA can collect all the data by using this hybrid, see if it suits the Malaysian market or not. When Toyota or Daihatsu designed this product, or should I say the Toyota Race, the Daihatsu Rocky, they intend to replace multiple car models. For example, the leather frame Daihatsu Rocky, or the infamous urban mini off-roader, the Toyota Rush. So when they design this car, they have the intention of making it as rugged as its look, yet maintain the urban SUV styling. If you look at the design, it might look like a typical hatchback with a high ground clearance, but if you look closely in the details, you will notice that it has a very short front overhang, which actually helps with the aperture angle, and a very short rear overhang, which helps with the departure angle. So it actually grants it a small off-road capability. Other than that, it also comes with an invisible air pillar design that comes with a C-shaped side profile. For those who prefer to be more sporty or more stylish, they can also opt for a blackout roof design that create an invisible roof design. So yes, back then, this is a stylish car before all the China car invade Malaysia. To make things less confusing, from now on, I will refer the PERODUA Ativa that we get, the 1.0 liter 3-cylinder turbo CVT version, as PERODUA Ativa. And what you're looking at here, the PERODUA Ativa Hybrid, I will just refer it as the Rocky Hybrid. So back then, in 2019 and 2020, Daihatsu, Toyota, they have launched this new product lineup, which is the Rocky, also Subaru, the Rocky, the Race, and also the Rex. PERODUA quickly adapt the product lineup and make it their own PERODUA Ativa. In 2021, Daihatsu launches this hybrid version of the Daihatsu Rocky. They name it the E-Smart Hybrid. So for us in Malaysia, they do not come with the E-Smart Hybrid badge. I think it's because of the marketing purpose or whatnot. I do not know about it. But other than that, what is the difference between this Daihatsu Rocky Hybrid and our PERODUA Ativa? Long story short, number one is the grille design, as you can see. And number two is the rim. Pay attention to the lug nut. This is 5x105 bolt pattern. Next is the bumper at the rear. Oh yeah, and also the boot. It is actually a Japanese spec plastic boot instead of what we're getting used with, the metal boot. The interior has some small, slightly difference. For example, the fabric seat is slightly better. Other than that, it's actually JDM. In 2021, Daihatsu launches this Daihatsu Rocky E-Smart Hybrid with only one intention, which is to test user acceptance in Japan. So, according to their official website figures, their target sales for this particular variant, amount of variant available in Japan, for example, the 1.0 liter turbo, the 1.2 liter NA, the 4-wheel drive, whatnot, they only expect a
target sales of 700 units per month
in Japan. Let's not forget that Daihatsu Rocky, the Toyota Race and the Subaru Rex, it's all considered as the second best selling vehicle in Japan, only surpassed by the Toyota Yaris. So in Malaysia, there's only 300 units of this currently running around in Malaysia. The rear design is almost the same as our local Ativa, except the bumper design. This is a Japanese JDM version, and you look at the number plate cutting, if you change it to white color, it's exactly the same as JDM. Because this is a JDM. Then look at the boot. So contrary to what we get in Malaysia, this boot is actually made from plastic. Do you think that's an issue in Malaysia? Let me know. So about the boot size, this car might look small on the outside, but inside it's just huge. Look at this. You can use it as a picnic bench. Yeah. Contrary to what we understand about a car, engine type, gearbox type, and what is the powertrain like. For now, we have the BEV, which is the battery electric vehicle, the HEV hybrid electric vehicle, and the PHEV plug-in hybrid vehicle. This is actually considered as a HEV hybrid electric vehicle. And in the hybrid electric vehicle category, there's two mainstream concepts. The first one is series hybrid, and the second one is parallel hybrid. We will discuss about this concept later on. So what you need to understand first and foremost is there is an engine in the car, but that engine just acts as a generator. Not much difference compared to the Honda generator you see at Pasar Malam. So the generator inside this car, codename VAVEX, the Wave X, is actually a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder generator that uses Atkinson cycle rather than an Otto cycle. So what's so special about Atkinson cycle? I will explain it later. So for this engine or generator, it produces 82 horsepower. Those horsepower will not be used to propel the front wheel. No, those 82 horsepower it's only used to generate electricity. What actually propels the front tire is an electric motor,
105 horsepower and 170 Newton meter of torque.
It doesn't sound much, but let's remember that this car is only about 1.05 ton of weight. Definitely not blisteringly quick, but it's sufficient. Compared to our local PERODUA Ativa, this Daihatsu Rocky Hybrid comes with 195/60 R17 Dunlop EconSafe tires. This set of tires is rather surprisingly good. If you look into the details, especially the rim, is the lug nut. So for our local PERODUA Ativa, it comes with a 4x100 lug nut design. For the Daihatsu Rocky, it comes with a 5x100 lug nut design. What you can see is the rim and tire. What you can't see is the suspension. The suspension, front suspension of this Daihatsu Rocky is the McPherson strut, and the rear is torsion beam, which sounds basic, I agree. But after I've driven it, I feel like this car is one of the very few that are able to achieve a certain balance. And I think it's surprisingly good. All I can tell you is surprisingly good. And let's talk about the brakes. Front, disc brake. Rear, dump brake. No surprise. This is a budget car and it only weighs about 1.1 ton, less than 1.1 ton. What's so great about the brake is, it's not that PERODUA anymore if you know what I'm talking about. The brake is progressive and with ample feedback. Coupled with, this is actually a hybrid vehicle. with a regen setting. So with vehicle like that, most of the time, the brake feedback will be a little bit numb, hollow, or it feels empty. It depends on how you understand it. But for this PERODUA Ativa Hybrid, the brake is surprisingly well sort of. Especially, I have driven this car in the Titikong hill roads, and I feel like the car chassis, the brake, the acceleration it's a overall very balanced package, which is surprisingly good. It's not a driver car, but I'm not driving it as it's supposed to be, but it passed the test in flying colors. The interior of PERODUA Ativa, if I would like to summarize in one word on it, it will be practical in mind. Why would I say practical in mind? So, do you notice how effortless and easy I am to get into the cabin just now? The ingress and egress of this vehicle is superb. You can just get into the car, run away, effortless. And next, look at this. Both are evenly with an armrest. Okay, this with some small soft touch material, and here it's even, and everything is so accessible and easy to use. Your hand, when you put it here, put it down, it just reaches the gear knob, and come back to here, it's the steering. Everything is just so nice, easy to go. However, not all perfect though. First thing first is the steering. It's still a budget conscious Daihatsu or PERODUA, so it only comes with up-down steering adjustability. There's no telescopic adjustability, so some compromise has to be made. Other than that, what I hate the most is the volume. The volume control, despite there's some physical control button here for the aircon, for the temperature, the only way for you to control volume, despite all the buttons here, it's by screen, where you have to go to the volume setting and adjust it by the touchscreen. So that's kind of annoying. It's not so Japanese, or not so Daihatsu, or not so practical now. But again, this is just you can understand it as a prototype in Malaysia. So maybe in future, PERODUA will launch this in Malaysia. They will do some minor adjustment. So other than that, what more special about this car? Everything is so practical and easy to use. You have plenty of cubby holes here. Then you have this cubby hole, and you have these. You have these. You can put your Michelle here. It's nice. And even though all are hard plastic, but again, this is a budget conscious car. You cannot ask for a garment meal with a roti canai budget. I have said it multiple times. You have those hard plastic everywhere. It's not too bad, not some cheap plastic, still plastic nonetheless. You have very nicely tactile aircon vents, aircon control, and you have this PRNDB, a very user-friendly, straightforward to use gear shifter. Not high-tech, but hey, this is the most convenient thing ever. Then you have this electronic parking brake. So this, of course, you do not get it in Malaysia spec. Why it has this? Because this PERODUA Ativa Hybrid comes with a stop and go traffic. I think it's similar to the Toyota safety system rather than our PERODUA ASA 3.0. But yeah, again, please don't take all those as a golden standard, because this is a prototype. What I can tell you in terms of the hardware, it's quite impressive. The seat is nice, the ergonomic is almost flawless. I am 180 centimeter tall and about 100 kg weight, and I sit just alright inside. Everything is just so effortless, chill, easygoing. Apart from the volume control, which is annoying. When I first get this car, okay, or most of the consumers would think, oh wow, this is basic or hard plastics, and with a screen so small, and you have a small screen here with some graphics that looks a bit 1990s from PlayStation. But let's look beyond this screen here, because this is just an aftermarket and it depends on how generous PERODUA is in future. Let's look at this. So yes, for the screen here, it does not come with a lot of special design, all the fanciness. No, it's a straightforward screen, but it does come with about 4 different design of the speedometer, and you can use the ADAS system on the right hand side here, or what's the other PERODUA, a newer PERODUA with a DNG chassis, for example the Elza, and I think our local Ativa is the same. So other than that, what's more special that you can adjust in this car? To be frank, not much. It's a straightforward, simple car, good old basic, nothing fancy apart from a S pedal function, a Kia S pedal. So what is an S pedal? It's similar to one pedal acceleration and deceleration. Once you release the pedal, it will brake itself. So most of the time I found this function annoying, so I will just disable it. It's just me. I prefer the car to glide. But if you require a stronger regen force, you can always utilize the B gear here. There's a S pedal, there's also a B gear selector. There's no L gear in this car, but there's B. So B is actually considered as a brake regen function. So when you are downhill, you can utilize this. Other than that, good old simple basic PERODUA, which when you sit here, you will have a sense where it can serve you very well for the years and the months they will come. Can you see how easily I just jumped into the car just now? This is something that I found it impressive for Daihatsu and Toyota cars. I mean, how they can design something so like this, so easy to use. It's almost 90 degrees here with a very wide ingress access. The seat is not bad. Yeah, there's no central armrest. Of course, this is a budget conscious car. I've been saying that multiple times. There's nothing here, only 2 charging ports. But again, this is just a prototype. It might not reflect in Malaysia market. All in all, I would say it's a very easygoing car. I mean, this is not a very fancy Range Rover or a fancy high-tech thingy, but you will believe this car will serve you for many years to come. Oh yeah, this is a hybrid vehicle, right? So you might be wondering, where is the battery? The battery actually hides underneath the seat, somewhere here. So it does not occupy the floor room, which most car will do. They will actually make the floor plan higher than it should. For this, it does not have the issue. This is actually a proper floor plan. The battery is hidden here. So yeah, it's alrighty. I will now do my best to explain a few key features for this PERODUA Ativa Hybrid or the Daihatsu Rocky Hybrid. So, tech talk session, let's begin. So, at the moment, powertrain for automobile come mainly from petrol or diesel or electric. There's no other alternatives. So, for petrol or diesel car, they are powered by ICE or as known as internal combustion engine. So for electric, when electricity involved or electrification involved, you need electric motor to propel the car. And to power electric motor, you need battery. So when ICE and motor both works together to power your car, it is known as hybrid or HEV. For battery, it does not involve any ICE. So I hope that is clear. The difference between PHEV and HEV is just a charging port. Nothing much difference. So let's look at the hybrid category. Hybrid category, there's 2, which is series and parallel. Long story short, make it simple. Does the electric motor involve in the front wheel or the rear wheel? Does it power the wheel? If it yes, then most probably it is a parallel hybrid system. But if the car only powers by the front electric motor only or rear electric motor only without any interference or physical connection with the engine, it is considered as a series hybrid system. So just look at this: engine, motor, battery work tandem together. And for series, is engine powers the battery and battery powers the motor. It's just one simple circuit. So key concept: series hybrid or parallel hybrid. For the PERODUA Ativa Hybrid or the Daihatsu Rocky Hybrid, it's actually a series hybrid. So what is the key selling point of the car or the system? The beauty of this system is it's actually powered by an ultra efficient, Daihatsu claim it's a 40% thermal efficiency VAVE-X engine that powers by Atkinson cycle rather than Otto cycle. So where do you see Atkinson cycle? You will see it mostly in hybrid vehicles. For example, the already famous Toyota Prius and the Hyundai Ioniq Hybrid, not the EV version. For this system, how does it work? So technically, you have the engine, you have the battery, and you have the electric motor. So the battery will power the electric motor, just like that. So when the battery depleted, your engine or generator need to replenish the battery. So it will constantly work in this flow. For PERODUA Ativa, unfortunately, the battery is quite small. It's only 4.3 ampere hour. It's even less than 1 kilowatt. In comparison, the BYD Dolphin is about 60 kilowatt or 50 kilowatt. That's the standard battery capacity now. For the hybrid vehicle that we have, it's only 4.3 Ah, which is equivalent to 0.7. So that is the reason why the engine need to keep on top up and go to the power or to the motor. It need to keep on refilling, and that's the reason why this will be very noisy if you floor the throttle. So how does it feel like to drive a PERODUA Ativa Hybrid, which you cannot buy at the moment? To my surprise, it's actually quite contrary to what people believe, or contrary to what most of the test drive event that I have. Most of the car able to impress you at first with very strong acceleration, fancy gadgetries, and all sort of blinks and shines that makes you feel wow. Ativa Hybrid is the opposite side, where it actually feels meh from the beginning. I mean, like, why a hybrid so noisy? Listen to this. You can hear the engine growl in an hybrid, like what the? But here's the fun thing. After the initial bad impression, the more time I spend with the car, the more I like it. I know it sounds funny, but here, let me explain. The reason why engine rev is because this car is coupled with a small battery. So which means the battery depletes way fast or too fast when you floor your pedal to unleash all the power. So in order to catch up with the power consumption, engine need to work harder to generate electricity. So to make the concept clearer, I would not call the engine as engine, but let's refer it as generator. So the generator need to pump up the battery faster so that it can recover the battery faster when you floor the pedal. Is that an actual way to drive or a proper way to drive an eco-friendly urban SUV? I don't think so. It's supposed to be driven in a very gentle manner, or should I say in a fast-free, chill manner. Just step your throttle to 20 and 30% or maybe 50% and let the engine work and let the whole powertrain work in the most efficient manner, and you can feel the car just breeze through, just chill through, just effortlessly glide through everything. The suspension is very supple. It's very not PERODUA, if you know what I'm saying. It's very supple, it absorbs bumps very well, yet provide enough road feedback. Okay, and the steering, it's a bit slow because of the SUV setup thingy, but it's responsive enough. Granted, you need to turn the steering just a little bit more. I have driven this car to the famous Picky Kong Hill Road just to test the handling and the overall driving experience, and surprise, surprise, the car does handles very well. When you turn the car into a corner, it just stays there. After the initial body roll, it just squats there and it carry up the corner. Once you came up from the corner, the car will just straighten up itself and just fast free stays there, turns out, and it just remains as a very effortless, chill, fun to drive car, not fast. So it's a very counterintuitive car where it does not impress you from the first test drive experience, but the more I drive it, the more I like it. So yeah, I personally feel this is a better Ativa compared to the 1.03 cylinder turbo that we have in Malaysia for sale. Why? Number one, it just fits the purpose more. So in city drive, like for example at current condition, all you hear is just the aircon noise. If I turn down the aircon, you can hear just a small hint of electric motor, and the engine just kicks in when necessary. But we have to remember that this is actually a budget car manufactured by Daihatsu, so you cannot expect much refinement from the car, which means when the engine kicks in, you can still feel a little bit of vibration. There's still some rough edges, but that's because this car is built with a very limited budget. So you can't expect much. You cannot expect a garment meal when you only can pay for roti canai money, right? So in highway, a lot of people will thought, okay, in this serious hybrid setup, in highway the car might feel underpowered, lethargic, or whatever you call it. But no, actually it still performs okay. And the fastest I've driven this car at the moment is about 150 or 160 km/h. It's still effortless, but you will see your the fuel consumption will rise quite high, but even is as the worst is about 16 km to 17 km per liter, which is still acceptable. Granted, you drive like a maniac in like 160 km/h in a PERODUA Ativa. Why? But that's just I'm testing the car, so just to let you know, that's the worst that you can do with a PERODUA Ativa Hybrid. And yeah, and also the engine noise will be the generator noise will be quite loud, but it's not bad at all. I mean, you wouldn't drive at that speed all the time. For example, in 80 to 120 km/h, it just goes and is enjoy the music, and the car just stays silent. Just a very small hint of engine vibration. The generator just fire up gently. Everything is just nice. Okay. So currently I'm driving at highway in a normal, reasonable manner. You can hear not much. I'm driving about 60 or 70 km/h. It just behaves like a normal car. As an EV, it's not that silent, but just take it as a Ativa, then it's actually better than the 1.0 liter CVT turbo Ativa. So let's say if I would like to accelerate the car at the moment, 3, 2, 1, full throttle. The generator is trying to work at its peak, and you can feel the car is picking up quite fast. That's the noisiest it can get. No more. That's the most noisiest it can get. Do you think you can accept that? For me, I think I can live with that. As long as you get past the concept whereby, oh, this is an EV. Oh, it was supposed to be 100% silent. Unfortunately not in this case, but it's still not too bad. So let's say do it now. Maximum acceleration. Yeah, that's the noisiest it can get. No more. I think the generator is running about 4,000 RPM, 3,500 RPM, trying to charge up the battery. That's the fastest, and at the moment I'm at 100 already. 130. Yep. So if you drive sensibly, like now, and at the moment my right feet is about 30 to 40%. So if you need to accelerate the Ativa Hybrid, you don't need to floor the throttle, you just need to step a little bit. You can slightly hear the engine or the generator start buzzing a bit, and the car still goes. Because remember, this is not an engine car, it's actually an EV with a generator. So no matter what you do to your throttle, okay, it does not affect the engine. The engine will just depends on how much power consumption you need and work its best to generate electricity. So your right foot actually determines how much electrical power go to the motor and send to the front wheel. So if you want the car, if you want to enjoy Ativa Hybrid in the most sweet spot, you don't floor the throttle, just half throttle, and the car just goes. It follows like a wind. And in high speed condition, it's surprisingly stable. The suspension is quite composed. The fastest I have go is only 150 again, as I just said, but all in all, it's alrighty. It provides a feeling it's more of a Toyota now than a Daihatsu. Some say PERODUA Ativa is the best PERODUA to be driven, only slightly overshadowed by Myvi because of the suspension setting. I can say at the moment, the best PERODUA that I have driven is this, the Ativa Hybrid. And I think it's better than some entry-level Toyota car, to take me for granted, but I really think that's so.
So what conclusion I can give to this PERODUA Ativa Hybrid or Daihatsu Rocky Hybrid? To be honest, I'm not able to give a firm conclusion because this car, number one, it's not officially on sale by PERODUA. So if you would like to have one now, you can't. And number two, the package already long gone. So For those who are fortunate enough to be selected by PERODUA, they are enjoying their PERODUA Ativa Hybrid right now. The project started in 2021, so by right 2026 will be the final day of the scheme or the project where PERODUA will collect back all of their 300 units of the PERODUA Ativa Hybrid and to analyze the data. So let's discuss this car in two perspectives. Number one, EV that are affordable. Is there such thing in Malaysian market now? Must claim to be the first EV manufactured by Proton, and if you look at the price tag, you know that this is not a car that can be easily afforded by M40, let alone B40. No offense, but that's the fact. Unless you go over leverage your salary in car loan, then it's a choice. Number two, the scheme, or should I say the project. At the moment, most of the Malaysian purchase car using hire purchase loan. It's a very mainstream thing where you loan money from the bank, you pay monthly installment, after the end of installment, the car is yours. In such car subscription package, after end of 5 years, you will get nothing. You have to return the car back to the manufacturer, and if you like it, you might continue to subscribe. You don't like it, you can change to another car. So, would you pay 30,000 for 5 years? Service, insurance, road tax all included for 100,000 km usage on this car? If you ask me, I'm more than happy to do so because number one, interest rate. Let's not forget about the interest rate that you need to pay for a loan. That itself, for some car, it's already worth what the manufacturer is asking for. Number two, maintenance and depreciation costs, which is considered as cost also. But the million-dollar question is, but will PERODUA launch this car in future under subscription package for 500 ringgit per month only? I don't think so. Let's think about it. You can't even subscribe a PERODUA Axia nowadays with 500 ringgit per month, let alone a PERODUA Ativa. So it all really depends on how PERODUA continue to redefine what Malaysian people actually needs, what the rakyat actually needs, and how they path their way in the EV future. In terms of the powertrain, I think it done more than justice. Albeit it has some rough edges to be refined, it's good enough. The problem is how much they are planning to sell and how they will sell it to you. So let's wait until 2026 and see what PERODUA will do. Thank you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe our channel if you like what we are doing. We also have Instagram and a news website.